Hey everyone, and welcome to the Defining Your Life podcast, where we focus on living in our purpose, practicing presence, and activating our power in each moment. I'm Marsharelle, your resident pep talk provider, and I invite you to join me as we continue to learn, lift each other up, and strive to level up together. Because we are never finished defining our lives, and it takes a village, so let's build one. Stay tuned for the episode. Hey everyone, I hope that all is well and that you've been having a wonderful week so far. I hope you had a rejuvenating weekend on some level and that you had an opportunity to get outside and enjoy the outdoors if you were fortunate enough to have some good weather in your area. We actually had some really good weather the past couple of days, which you know is great for your mood and all that. And I was excited to see some sunshine after some really rainy days last week. And though the rain is returning with a bit of a chill starting tomorrow, I'm actually grateful for it. I'm looking forward to some relief from this pollen that's out here because my allergies are a bit haywire and my poor son is coughing and sneezing all over the place. But I'm also looking forward to a well-watered garden since I just got some seeds in the ground, y'all. You know how I feel about the garden. 'Tis the season. So I'll keep y'all posted on my progress there as well. Anyway, after a quick break for another wonderful rapid fire feature interview last week, today I'm circling back to our B series. And last week's chat with Shelly was a great segue into our B topic this week. If you listen to the episode, you might remember that Shelly shared with us how she's leaning more so into the soft side of herself and is really allowing her strong inner self that's sustained and propelled her forward in life to now just relax and rest at this stage, right? I thought she put that beautifully. And I think we all need to be reminded that we don't have to keep that same energy that helped catapult us to the next level or got us through more challenging times. We don't need to keep up with that sort of energy all the time. In fact, that same drive, that hustle, while great, can sometimes make us feel as though we're constantly running on adrenaline, depending on how hard we're pushing down on that gas pedal for go. And we know that is neither healthy or sustainable, right? So just remember that it's okay to put your hustle on a shelf sometimes. And it doesn't mean that we still don't push hard or demonstrate that we're hungry, when we're going after something. But it does mean that hustle is not the driving force in our lives. And we have to know that if we take a moment to rest, that our lives, the ones that we work so hard to build with that hustle and with that drive, won't just fall apart if we put something down for a minute, And if you've been that constant hustler, so busy on go that you haven't put any, I'll call them safe houses in place that will allow you the opportunity to rest without your life seemingly falling apart, I challenge you to do some rethinking on how you currently have things structured, because your life shouldn't be designed in a way that you have to constantly work on overdrive for it to function. That is too heavy of a load to carry for a lifetime. So today, I want to talk about being light. What does being light mean to you? I actually look at being light in two ways, right? And the first, which may seem obvious, is releasing the burdens, the heaviness that can sometimes be part of our day-to-day life, whether it's the stresses of work or parenting or relationships or trauma, all those things that weigh us down. And you can't carry that heaviness with you forever and expect to become the best version of yourself. Some of these things we can't fully put down, or maybe we can't detach the heaviness from the part of it that is good. So in those instances, the best benefit comes from putting down the things that we can, even if they're not related. You have to lighten the load somewhere. So one way to look at the statement or command, be light, is to become lighter versions of ourselves by putting down or releasing. But I also think of be light as being light in the world. For all the darkness that we talk about and see, all the heaviness, all the trauma that people experience, where can we bring light, positivity, and encouragement? When we radiate light, it's good for everyone, for ourselves and others. Y'all remember that movie, Pay It Forward? That movie was a great lesson in how the actions of just one person can impact so many others. And we often think about this, impact, if you will, negatively, but think about the impact of good, because light isn't something that you can really smother out. Even in complete darkness, the tiniest crack will allow the light to come through. Like water, it's going to make its way. And I don't know about you, but I want to be light. I want to be the water making its way even through the tiniest crack. I want to be out here spreading love and hope and reminding others that there is good in the world. I want to represent God. So let's talk more specifically about being light. How to get there to the point of being lighter, and then how to actually be light in this world. Let's start with lightening the load, because the chances of us being the light in the world are much greater when we have a little less to carry. And so, what does lightening the load look like for you? To me, it looks like physical release. Where can you purge, right? Is it your home? That's sort of a given. Getting rid of old stuff you don't need. But what about spaces that you might not think of right away, like your car? You ever go in the trunk of your car and see something that's been sitting there forever, but you've just been too lazy to get it out? I know it's just me. But I bet if you clean it out, the next time you go to put something in the trunk, you might smile. And what about your purse? Are you carrying one of those oversized bags filled with things that you really don't need? Stuff you never pull out of that bag except for at that baby shower game. What's that game where you see who has all the things on the list in their bag? I don't win that game. And I used to carry a big purse all the time, but I've never won. But anyway, this is just a news flash, y'all. You don't need all the things in that bag. You just don't. And this is no shade to people who like to be prepared, right? But if your shoulder or your back is hurting, I'm going to need you to clean that bag out and get a smaller purse for your essentials. So, physical release. That's one way of lightening the load. But also mental release. There are many ways in which we can sort through our thoughts and release our emotions, but it must be done. And journaling, of course, is one way to do that. Now, journaling is always going to come up because it's a thing, right? But going back to our guest from last week, Shelly had mentioned to me the journal app on her phone. If you're an Apple user, did you know that there was a journal app on the phone? Because I saw it and I didn't really pay attention to it until she brought it to my attention. Now, I'm very old school when it comes to certain things, which includes the act of putting pen to paper. But in this instance, I found that there were actually some cool benefits to using this app, which included recording your journal entry instead of writing it down, right? Like a voice note, which is super helpful, great for on the go, and for people who may get stuck when they're trying to capture their thoughts when they go to write something down. But something else that's cool is that you can also upload pictures. So that's pretty decent for people who love the idea of a visual diary, but they don't have time or the vision for, say, scrapbooking or just like, more in-depth journaling on that level. So I encourage you to check out the app if you haven't had an opportunity to do so and see if it can serve you in some way, even if it's just capturing those random thoughts throughout the day when it's not your designated journaling time, if you will. But remember, the goal is to release and lighten the load. How you do it isn't as important. And if you're not into journaling, even in the app, I encourage you to phone a friend. I'm always going to encourage that, or a professional, right? Talking and sharing is so very important. I say this as someone who continues to work on getting better in this department. If you can believe it, I don't like talking and sharing my feelings. I know. And I know that carrying all of our emotions on our own gets heavy, but sharing your feelings with someone you love can be hard. And sharing them with a professional stranger can be scary, but it can also be very helpful. Whatever avenue you choose, it is important that you free yourself of unnecessary emotional baggage. And by unnecessary, I mean all baggage, okay? All emotional baggage, because if it's baggage, you don't need it. Now, allow me to share with you the profound words of Miss Erykah Badu today from her classic hit, Bag Lady. One day, all them bags gonna get in your way. So pack light. Y'all, you know carrying a lot of stuff is hard. It's frustrating and it makes it difficult to make progress. So pack light on this journey of life. Take only your essentials and the things that bring you joy. You'll feel lighter from the light load that you're carrying, and you'll be light in the world because you brought your joy with you. Joy that you can actually find because it won't be buried in the bottom of an oversized handbag. Thanks so much for listening today. If what you have been hearing has been beneficial, don't forget to rate, review, share, and follow this podcast. I love having y'all around, and I can't wait to chat with you all again next week. Take care until then.